Hey everybody, welcome to Tech Talk Live. I am Kristen Gastaldo. I am your community manager. Today we are joined by Francesco Totti, Paul Hampton, and Anthony Jones. I will let them do their own introductions in just a minute.
Okay, I will start.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. Let me start out with a technical issue. I was trying to monitor the YouTube chat, so I was going to hear echo. Sorry. Okay, so things that we have coming up for the community. Next Friday, the 22nd, is going to be our global hackathon. We have several local rooms throughout Europe. We're available for people to come and visit us in our offices in Maidenhead and London. There's lots of projects to join, lots of teams out there. We'd love for you to check it out. It's not too late to join a team. It is virtual, so if you can't travel, you can always work from home or from your office. But if you want to check out it all lives in the community. There's a page dedicated to the hackathon in the Collaborate section. Our next event after that will actually be the demo from the hackathon projects. Normally we do office hours on the last Friday of the month, but due to a scheduling conflict, we're pushing this one out to October 6th. So Friday, October 6th will be the hackathon demo. And that will just be kind of what people work on during the hackathon, what they're ready to present. Beyond that, our next Tech Talk Live is going to be October 11th. That's on a Wednesday. Tech Talk Live is generally always the second Wednesday of the month. That one will be joined to talk about Alfresco security best practices. Tony De La Fuente is going to be joining us. Today, though, we are talking about the digital business platform. We have a current setup now for a platform trial that Paul and Anthony have put together. So they're going to be doing a demo today to show you what you can do and what kind of feedback we're looking for. So let me hand it over to you guys to everybody do your intros. Francesco, you want to go first?
Yes, I'll go first because I want to leave the space to Anthony and Paul. Of course, thank you, Krista, for introduction. As usual, my name is Francesco Totti. I'm product evangelist for Alfresco, and that's all. I will be here to support Anthony and Paul with their presentation. The mic to you guys.
Okay, I'll go next. My name is Paul Hampton, product marketing, been with Alfresco for about 8 years. And as Kristen said, we've been working on this platform trial. And I'm going to hand over to Anthony, who's going to do most of the talking today.
Excellent. Thanks, Paul, and hello, everyone. So I'm Anthony Jones. I've been with Alfresco around a couple of years now, and I'm responsible for content services from a product marketing perspective. So what I wanted to do today, and let me just start by sharing my screen. And if Paul or Kristen could just confirm that.
Yep,
yes.
Okay, lovely. So what I wanted to do is just give you an overview of the digital business platform trial that we've put in place and just run you through what you need to do to actually get up and running in that and start to experience that yourself. So first off, what's the goal of this? So the digital business platform is all of the elements of the various services that Alfresco provide. And what we wanted to make sure was that it was really easy to get up and running and install all of those components and make sure that all of the configuration was done for you and that really you could focus your efforts on actually using the platform to do cool stuff with it. So that was really the goal, to make sure that that process was really simple and quick and easy for you. The second thing is, once that platform is up and running, we wanted to help you and our prospects and customers start to do something with it and start to explore what's possible in terms of connecting content and processes. So the next element we did is just put together a really simple content and process kind of application that you can step through and start to explore and expand on. And so what I'm going to do is just run through those different elements and explain how you can get going with all of those things. So the first thing, hopefully many of you will have seen this diagram before. It outlines what we mean by the Alfresco Digital Business Platform in terms of the combination of content and process services, governance services, and all brought together with open APIs and open standards that make it very easy to integrate with other systems and build on top of. That is built on top of foundation with Alfresco governance services, intelligence and analytics, very powerful search capabilities, and then real flexibility to deploy wherever it makes sense to you. So with this platform trial, we're really concentrating on the core components that you need and making sure that you've got these set up and ready to go so that you can start using the platform. So with that, I will switch across to a video, and which is there. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this video is, so you'll first off hopefully recognize the Alfresco community, and we're going to go to a new section, which is the digital business platform. Right now, that section really focuses on these trial assets, and there's a couple of other pieces of content that might be useful to you, but over time, we're building out that section to provide additional information that will be useful. One of the things that you may have explored already, but we have a range of architecture talks that you see on the left-hand side that are well worth reviewing to just get an overview of the capabilities. So here's the platform trial, and we've got those 3 elements, and we're going to start by downloading the core files and assets that we're going to need to get things going. So I've downloaded that. I'm going to open the zip. And I'm just going to copy all of these files to a nice, easy folder that I will come back to and refer to later, which is called Alfresco Vagrant. Okay, so we're going to copy those files across. While those are copying, I'm now going to open up the platform installation guide. And the first thing to note is that this outlines exactly what is a part of the VirtualBox deployment. So you can see content services there, process services, the kind of underlying services that you need. But we've also included a range of our modules, records management, media management, etc. So next thing is there are a few things that you're going to need to get going. So you are going to need VirtualBox, you are going to need Vagrant, and those are actually up and running on my my machine already, so I'm not going to go through and download those. So I'm going to go straight ahead and open the command prompt. I'm going to change the directory to the location that I downloaded those files to, and then we're going to run the command Vagrant up. So the first thing to note, so this is going to create the VirtualBox with all of the different components, and not just all the different components, but all configured to work together appropriately. If it needs all the files, it's going to go off and get those from the internet. In this case, I've previously installed this, so all of the files are available locally, and it's just building the virtual environment for me. And this video has all been recorded in real time, so I haven't kind of cut and paste things together. You're seeing it in the time that it actually takes to happen. So while that's just finishing off, I'm going to scroll down the guide. And so once the virtual environment is built, we need to connect to it. And on Windows, I'm going to use the PuTTY utility to do that. And again, you can see all of the instructions in the document here. So if I switch back to see how that installation is getting on, and the timing is pretty perfect because it's just finished. And so I'm going to connect. You've got the details, the SSH details to connect with there. So I'm just going to paste those into PuTTY, and I'm going to connect to that VirtualBox. So when you connect, you need to log in, and you use the login details Vagrant and the password Vagrant as well. And now all I need to do is actually start up all the individual services. So if I just move that out of the way so you can see the details on the getting started guide, you can see the commands you need to put in there. I'll run those, and that's going to start to run all of the individual services. Okay, so you are going to see just some updates here. Not a huge amount to say here, but I think it is worth pointing out this is all real time. So I wanted to kind of show you how quick and easy this is. The only bit where I have cut the video and combined is in a few moments you're going to see a statement that says, please leave it 5 minutes before trying to run the services. So I haven't actually made us all wait 5 minutes. I have cut the video and then taken off in 5 minutes time to show you what that looks like. But again, this is all how long it takes to get the entire platform up and running. Okay, so here's the point where we're at the wait 5 minutes. You can see above that all of the URLs to connect to the web interface for process services, the admin console, etc. So I'm just going to copy and paste those into a browser. You'll also note that the login details are given there, so it's demo and Alfresco. For the admin console, it's admin. So I'm just going to do the same and copy and paste the Alfresco process services URL over. And here you can see now that we've got both content services and process services up and running really quickly. Okay, so that's really all that it takes to get the entire platform up and running so that you can start to actually do interesting stuff with it and get going. And so this is where we've got the user guide. And I just wanted to very briefly, I'm not going to step through all of the detail here, but this is about providing a simple kind of contract approval application where we capture some metadata about some content. We put in place a review and approval process using Alfresco process services, and then we publish that information back to Alfresco content services. Just highlighting, so we do step you through that entire process if you want to do everything from scratch, including building the content model, defining the process, etc. But if you want to skip that, we also outline in the user guide how you can import a content model ready, import the predefined process, and then just take a few additional steps to connect it all together. And then you can spend the time kind of playing around with that application, extending it, etc. So the files that I showed you where to download at the very beginning, those are the import, the content model, and the contract approval app that you'll need as part of those instructions. So you can see that's a pretty quick run through. We have got all of the step-by-step instructions of exactly what to do on this, but just wanted to give you an impression of quite how easy it is to get up and running. The final point here is if we go back to the community page, you'll see on the right-hand side these tasks, and we're really keen to get feedback from you on both the getting started guide, but also your experience of getting it up and running with the platform and starting to use it. So that is the end of the video. If I gonna quickly move back now. So as I say, relatively short run through. We did want to have the opportunity to answer questions that you might have about that process. So I don't know if anything is coming in so far, Francesco?
We have one interesting feedback and a live message in the lab page, so you can be we can be happy because we have a feedback about switching the IP address of the Vagrant machines, of the machine from private to public, so they have been able also to test the desktop sync together with the machine. I think it's an interesting use case and maybe could be a sort of extension or something that we can suggest also for the future. Angel Borroy, and thank you, Angel, for leaving the comment, did that experimentation and left a comment, so probably could be also an interesting feedback for us to think about for the future for as an enhancement. What do you think?
Yeah. Go ahead, Paul.
I was going to say definitely anything like that we can capture would definitely be useful, so that we can. This is the first time we've done this, and really looking at what we can do to actually improve how we deliver sort of the platform trial. So anything we get like that, we will roll into future versions.
And another feedback is that just changing 2 lines of configuration, so it's also very easy. If you have a question, guys,
Francesco, just from that point of view, can we capture that so that we can what those two lines are, so that we can roll that in next time around, please?
I'm pretty sure that Angel is very happy also to share some details about that. In any case, yes, sure, I will reach Angel later on, and in any case, it would be really appreciated. Kristen, I don't know if you want to talk about the request that we have in the YouTube channel. Otherwise, I have a question for the guys.
Just real quick. So when somebody's watching this on YouTube, when they made it full screen, it looks like the video is a bit fuzzy. Anthony, I don't know if you are okay to share this video in Jive. I know there won't be any commentary with it, right?
Yeah, sure.
But it would be at least the steps of how to see it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, happy to do that. In fact, I can re-record with some voiceover as well, so that other people watching it later can
that'd be amazing.
Full resolution. So yeah, no problem.
So what that will end up, guys, in Jive. And if you, like you saw Anthony navigate to, actually, I can just show you real quick. In case anybody missed that the first time, if you got just a second, I'll screen share. You guys see my screen? You see the community?
Yes.
Okay. So from here, you just go, like Anthony said, to the digital business platform. And we've put it a couple different places. You can check out this platform trial here. You can go, it's essentially a lab space, just one level down in the community. So you would go over to the content tab, and that's where you'd be able to find a video. Once we have something in here, you could just filter by videos. As of right now, what we have on here, like Anthony was saying, are the challenges. So you just complete this process. Jive is relatively smart in knowing what you do in the platform. So if you read this guide, then it'll know you did that. You just have to tell it that you downloaded the installer and you installed the platform trial, and then you need to read the user guide. And for the platform installation review and the getting started guide review, we just need you to comment on these very specific questions, like how would you rate the process? How would you rate the guide? Is there anything we can add, or is it too much information? Were you able to complete the process and the setup? So you're able to complete these challenges by just answering some of the questions. Just click on any of the questions and then add a comment below. So it should be pretty easy to navigate. If anybody has any issues with Jive not recognizing that you've done something, then just send me a direct message in the community and I'll try to sort it out for you. I know sometimes the points and gamification in Jive is a little, it acts up on occasion. So let me know if you get stuck anywhere.
Okay, we don't have other question at the moment. I have one, and of course, feel free, guys, if you want to add something to this. But in any case, I try, of course, the digital business platform. I enjoy also to see how it's easy to set up. Do you have already defined some plans about enhancement? Do you think about do something more on this line, or do you think we should? So which is the plan for the future? Of course, if they are defined, I can imagine this is probably a question probably too early, because we are here to say, hey guys, let's share some feedback. But if you have some plans for the digital business platform, sandbox, and so on, could be the right time also to share the information in public.
Yeah, sure. So I'll start off, and then Anthony can add it as well. Yeah, this is the first time, and the reason we wanted to do this was that we have multiple products, and installing these means that you have to go through and install them separately and then configure them. We were looking for an easy way of doing this, and as Anthony showed with the video, this way of doing it through the Vagrant means you can get everything up and running very quickly. And then we had a sort of a getting started guide. One of the projects we're working on at the moment is to see how we can help people understand some of the power of what the software that we provided. So we've got the getting started guide, which basically walks you through a scenario, and we chose contract review and approval. But it does also have things like governance services in there. So we can extend this to sort of start talking about, well, how do you configure governance services to start taking those contracts and automatically defining those as records. And as we're seeing the ADF start going through some of its development, As that comes back out, we will want to add in the ADF into this. So then we can start saying, well, now how do you start building your own applications on top of this platform? So this is really step one, to say, did this work? Is it of value to people? And then we're looking for feedback on, okay, so what are the next getting started guides we should be creating to help people with this, but also what are the other components we should be adding into the mix. So yes, we will start adding this more and more to this over time.
Cool.
Excellent. The only thing I would add to that is in terms of the deployment mechanism. So there's already been some great feedback from the community in terms of Vagrant is great, but what about other mechanisms? So Alfresco has been doing a lot of work to make sure that you can really use the Amazon Web Services to get up and running with our various products very quickly and easily. So for content services, we have not only an AMI in the marketplace, but also a quick start that gets you up and running with a high availability, best practice instance of Alfresco content services. It's a natural fit for us to start looking at how we can provide the entire platform on AWS and make that really easy for our customers and prospects as well. So that's certainly an area that we will be exploring in addition to the stuff that Paul has already highlighted.
One question is if there are some plans around an Ansible playbook. Probably I can imagine this is a technical question. The question is Ansible, it's another way to provide the machine and the environment up and running. So currently we are using Vagrant, but I don't know if you are aware about plan on using Ansible. I don't think so, but I don't know if you are aware, Paul and Anthony.
No, we know that from an Alfresco point of view, we're looking at different deployment options. Now, one of those is the web, and Anthony's talked a little bit about what we're doing around supporting Amazon and AWS there. But I know that the guys are also looking from a product point of view, how we make it easier to deploy. So looking at tools like Kubernetes and Docker. So there are things that are happening at the product level that will make it easier. But that's sort of in development. So we wanted to get something out the door quickly. And that's why we've gone with the Kubernetes, with the Vagrant route.
Vagrant.
Yeah.
And honestly, this fits very well also on the idea that the digital business platform is a journey and not one step and one task.
Yes.
And also easy to do. So it seems to have a lot of sense on this. And this is a step one, of course, to do stuff like that. I don't know if there are some other questions, but please do it now because we have a few minutes more. This time, the duration of the Tech Talk Live is probably less than the average because Anthony, so the digital business platform is faster to set up and run, of course. My point of view, of course, just a discussion with all of you guys, if you have some thoughts, and is that this way and this approach could be also interesting to set up different examples of verticals on top of Alfresco, because, for example, once the ADF will be included in the way that Paul was sharing, of course, it would be really nice to see a vertical example of application on the, for example, the financial market, on the pharmaceutical market, or other vertical application built on top of ADF. And I think that the partners and our collaborators in the community could play a very primary role also in developing this kind of stuff. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, I think now that we have an easy way of shipping the platform and getting it up and running, as Anthony showed you in a matter of minutes, there's nothing to stop either us or people in the community, partners, developing different guides around different scenarios. We are looking at doing some more of these guides. If people have ideas of things that they found were difficult, that they were hard for them to learn, and they think that will be of value to other people looking at Alfresco, let us know, because we can spend the time to actually create those guides and publish them. We can use the same platform, and then we could have multiple different guides. So the first one we've got is the contract app. We could have different ones in there to sort of talk about how do you configure smart folders, for an example, or how do you do other things. So if people have ideas, then please come forward. If they're creating those ideas, great. We're happy to publish those into the community and make those available, so that there are other guides about, once you've got the platform, how you can actually take that forward.
Nice. We don't have other question from the IC channel and the YouTube channel, so I don't know if you want to add other colors to the presentation, or if you have something in mind. Otherwise, we can thank you, first of all, for the presentation, and hopefully we will repeat another TED Talk Live like this when we will have another version, or of course the feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the good news is that if you had kind of 45 minutes scheduled into your day to go through this, you've got 15 minutes, and you can see that that should be plenty of time to get everything up and running with the digital business platform. So I definitely encourage you to do that.
Thank you.
There's no time, or is there a time frame on this, guys, for how long that content will be available? How long, or is it just till the next iteration people can play with this one? Or
yeah, we're going to keep this live, but obviously we're keen to get feedback and get into the cycle of improving it to make sure that it's as valuable as possible for people.
Awesome. So if you guys get started and have questions, that whole section of the community, I know we've seeded it with a whole bunch of content that we want you to reply to, but of course you can also post any questions you have. If you get stuck anywhere, post a question, and we'll be monitoring that space to post some replies. Like I said, our next get-together will be next Friday, and that will be the Global Hackathon. Same way I navigated to the community before, hit the Collaborate section, and then there's a special tab for the Global Hackathon. Or you can just do a search. The search is pretty good. So we would love to see people. We're actually going to do a Google Hangout again for the Global Hackathon. So if you're in a local hacker room, or if you're at home by yourself and you want to actually chat with people face-to-face, jump in the YouTube Google Hangout on YouTube. I'll post the link in the community. And of course, we'll be in IRC as well. Thanks, everybody. I hope to see all of you next Friday.